All right. Again, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to my YouTube channel. And today I want to have a discussion about integrity when it comes to these taxi online businesses. And this is not from the side of the driver, and it is not from the side of the passenger, but from the side of the taxi companies themselves. Um, I want to give you an example of two trips that I did that, in my view, I found a high level of exploitation, both exploitation of the driver as well as exploitation of the customer. And by the customer, I mean the rider, the passengers, the people that we carry. So I will start with one trip that I did on, when was this? That I did on 12th of May. So 12th of May. And this trip, I did it from JKIA all the way to Pangani. So follow with me. The trip was how many kilometers? I can show you here. It was 19 kilometers. It is stayed for 34 minutes, and I was paid 770 shillings. So, and the trip is here. Anybody can, verify that this is an actual trip invoice from Bolt, and this is how it looks like from the side of the driver. The second trip that I want us to discuss about was on 26th of April. So I just took just two trips so that we can explore them together. And the trip here was from TRM to a place called Car Car Wash. So Car Wash is just within Kasarani area, and the trip distance was 3.2 kilometers, and the trip duration was 30 minutes, and the money that I was paid for that trip was 720 shillings. So let us now hit the road. Let the rubber meet the road in this discussion. So what I want you to, to help me understand. I want you to help me understand if there are no clear exploitation of both the driver as well as both the passenger by the company, and that company I mean Bolt. And this is my personal view. Because anytime you get drivers complaining, they will never complain about any other application. They will always be complaining about Bolt. And that does not mean that other companies like Uber and Litrocab are special in any way. They are actually culprits. They are as bad in many instances as Bolt, and they are also as good in so many occasions as Bolt. But in this case, I need anyone from Bolt who is watching this video to come and explain to us how this can happen if it is not clear exploitation. You do a trip of 19 kilometers. If you know JKIA and then you bring a person all the way to Pangani near Modaiga, a trip of 19 kilometers, yes, it is 34 minutes. And then I'm paid 750, 770 shillings. The same driver carries a customer from TRM. This was during the rains, during the rain seasons. Sometimes there was very heavy downpour, and some taxi drivers were refusing to accept trips or they were going offline. So the zone was completely red. It was a very high demand time. So the surge price, I agree, had multiplied to almost 3, 4 times the amount that you would pay on a normal day. But imagine from TRM just to car wash, a trip of just 3 kilometers. Why should they charge a person 750, 720 shillings? That for me, and a normal trip like this one is charged around 220 shillings. So an extra 500 shillings on top for this trip, I really felt for that customer. In as much as you will talk about that 30 minutes, normally what happens when the traffic is high, the accounted amount of money for traffic time is 4 shillings per every extra minute. And this is why I see there is a clear exploitation of the passenger in this case. Because if the trip was to traditionally, I would not traditional, but when it was being requested, if that trip was to take 15, maybe 3 kilometers, Bolt would estimate it at around 10, 10 minutes. Okay? In case of traffic, in case of traffic, then it means I spent 20 more minutes on traffic, which should be multiplied at a rate of 4 shillings per minute, and it should have only added 80 shillings. It should have only added 80 shillings into this, and the customer should have paid a maximum of 300 shillings. A customer should have paid a maximum of 300 shillings. But I also understand that there is the surge price, and surge price is not in any way connected to traffic or the time that will be spent on the road over and above the usual time. So this surge price is very, very exploitative. It exploits riders, and that is what I wanted to speak about. Here, I felt pity for the rider. When he was paying me the 720, I actually felt very sorry for him because I felt it was too much. It is the most expensive trip I have ever been paid for such a short distance. And here, I don't like complaining so much as a driver, but I also felt very much exploited. And actually, this customer had a discount, I think, of 100 shillings. So he paid me 660. Imagine a distance of 19 kilometers. Sometimes we forget about time, but a distance of 19 kilometers, it is such a long distance. And my car, for your information, it does around 16 kilometers per liter. Okay, so if my car is doing 16 kilometers per liter, it means already 200 kilometers. If I do 16 kilometers, so it's like I spent 1.5 liters. I would maybe roughly 1.5 liters, which is around 300 shillings. So already out of the 600, 300 shillings is gone to fuel. Okay, let's just finish that math. 300 shillings is gone to fuel. So how much is remaining? 660. Okay, it's how much is remaining is 360 shillings for a distance of 19 kilometers. Out of this, Bolt will take their commission of around 150 shillings. Of around 150 shillings. How much is remaining? If you remove 150 here, you will have 210. Okay? The car has other things that one needs to do to maintain that car and to keep it going. What I'm saying is that this one is exploitation, but it is not very bad because at the end of that, I will find myself with like maybe 200 shillings. And this is what I tell drivers: 200 shillings in 30 minutes is not very bad, to be honest. You know, you can fight another trip, and then at the end of the day, you get some money. But like this one for this customer, I felt that integrity was at stake. Integrity was at stake when it comes to surge prices. It should be applied, but to what extent? Can you have a surge price of times 10? Should you have a surge price of times 10? That for me, it is lack of integrity, especially given that the traffic was not that much. So I don't know your opinion, but that is my view.